San Francisco is probably the cleanest right now, and if you want to go to probably one of the cleanest cities in the US, one of the safest cities in the US, right now San Francisco is offering that for a limited time only because of the APEC event, which I think it stands for like the Asia Pacific Economic Conference or Convention. However you want to say it, you got some of the top brass, you got presidents from many big, powerful Asian countries, and hundreds of CEOs, even Tim Cook, Larry Fink, and Elon Musk are all there. So businesses, of course, are supposed to be booming, right? Because APEC is actually causing an inflow of 20,000 people into the San Francisco center. And if you look at San Francisco, it's basically around like the downtown area. This place is kind of walled off, including like Union Square, a crap load of security. And for the first time ever, San Francisco is actually having clean streets, right? And it really does amaze me that just because, a lot of the big CEOs, a lot of big tech company guys and other countries are coming here, they clean up in like 48 hours. It's actually pretty insane. But right now, businesses are suffering. They say that businesses are bad, but it's even worse with the APEC event going on. Businesses near San Francisco's Moscone centers sees up to an 80% decrease in sales during APEC. So what a lot of people are saying is the APEC summit is supposed to generate $53 million for the local economy. You got clubs, bars, all preparing for the APEC events. And a lot of small businesses around the APEC security area says APEC is hurting them more than helping them. Because the Moscone Center is one of the security zones for APEC, small business owners, they have to abide by the insanely strict security measures, right? You got metal fencing, concrete barriers, officers everywhere, and this is kind of a turn off for a lot of people who want to go to stores like these. So usually people just avoid some of these restaurants and clubs and bars in this location, right? People says that people don't come to the Soma, people didn't really come downtown, businesses are down over 60, 70, 80%. And it's a similar story for some of like the really nice bars and lounges in the area. A lot of people are staying away because of road closures and insane amounts of security measures. To make things worse, a lot of these businesses aren't even doing that well to begin with. Like ever since the pandemic, a lot of office workers just didn't come back anymore. And I don't really blame those office workers because San Francisco really isn't the best place to live. You got like people urinating on the streets, people literally doing crack and doing fentanyl on the streets pretty much. And if you just look at the Twitter HQ, right, or I guess X headquarters, right across from it, you got just a lot of homeless encampments. Property values plummet 50% like the office complexes in Spear Street. So generally speaking, many of these, restaurants, businesses are just not really doing so well, right? Now, 80% decrease in sales during APEC is crazy, but what's even worse is the Mission right now. This is the Mission District. You got all sorts of bars, cool nightclubs, and insanely really, really nice, large clumps of good restaurants, right? If you want something good to eat in San Francisco, if you're coming here for vacation, which I don't really recommend right now, but maybe one day, definitely check out the Mission and some of their bakeries and some of their restaurants. I mean, thousands of reviews, and basically all of them are at least like 4.5, right? Many of these are 4.5, like 4.7. Really good bars, really hipster cafes and restaurants. And guess what? This used to be packed with office workers, people coming to the Mission for a good time. This used to be packed with tourists as well. Valencia Street used to be a street where every single retail store was filled up to the brink, and you will never see a single vacant store here. But now, after the pandemic, many business owners in the Mission are saying that one, APEC isn't really helping them a lot, and two, they always see some sort of restaurant or bar or cafe being closed every single week in the Mission, which is very unusual because before the pandemic, this was a place where every single restaurant owner in probably the whole entire United States really wanted a spot here. Yes, rents are insane. Yes, there's a lot of regulations to open an establishment in San Francisco because the California laws are crazy, but people are willing to put up with anything to open a store here because it made a lot of money, right? But now with what's going on in the Bay Area with a loss of 150,000 office workers, obviously nobody's coming here. And even with the APEC summit, even the clean streets, I don't really think tourists are here to stay. And plus, I think once the event wraps up, I think San Francisco will probably just go back to the same old every single day, right? So a lot of really fishy stuff as well. And just to take a shift away from San Francisco, recently Oakland already got 3 chain businesses shutting down due to a crap ton of break-ins. Now, Oakland has always been an okay city. Its proximity to San Francisco was what made it pretty nice. You know, you got the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge, and around this area, right, you got a lot of massive office complexes, apartments, and multi-million-dollar condos for sale. And some of these houses near the bridge actually go for a lot of money. People like to actually commute to work to San Francisco from here. But now Oakland's getting super bad, right? This is actually the place in the whole entire United States that has the most amount of car break-ins. And one of the reasons why is many people who break into cars, a lot of times get a slap on the wrist, and plus, the police are pretty short-handed anyway. I mean, there's barely any cops left in Oakland and San Francisco. Oakland's 911, people say it's a joke, and you even have to wait it, be in line. Imagine waiting a 911 call because they're so short-staffed. In fact, 911 even shut down for 24 hours that one day this year, which just shows you that the system's breaking, and I'm pretty sure that the whole defund the police situation isn't really working at all. But right now, you got 3 stores located near Oakland Coliseum. They shut down. I mean, how does a Starbucks even shut down? And the second one is also Starbucks and a Subway store. These are all chain restaurants that typically don't lose money, right? I mean, having a Starbucks to close down really means that you screwed up the city itself. Because Starbucks generally does really well without any sort of advertising. People always go to Starbucks. But because these locations, they have people parking cars here, it's actually becoming a massive turnoff, right? You park a car at Starbucks, go in for a latte, walk out in 5 minutes, your cars are broken in. It's actually absolutely insane. And even the small plaza in 98th Avenue was already covered with warning signs telling drivers not to leave valuables in the cars. This is some insanity right here, right? I mean, at this point, it's kind of unlivable. I mean, I live in a totally different city. It's a very nice city, kind of small, less than 500,000 population, and we don't really see that many car break-ins. Actually, I don't think I've seen a car break-in in my over a decade of living here in my city. So it's actually surprising to see that Oakland's getting so bad that Starbucks has to close down because nobody wants to drive to Starbucks because the car might get broken in. And it shows you that this city is really, really suffering under this heat. And not really any big changes have ever happened with the Bay Area except the APEC event. I guess the event was just so big that they just had to clean up. But in my opinion, after the APEC event, it's just going to go back to the way it was. And like I said, a lot of San Francisco office workers just don't even want to come back. They just want to work online. They kind of see what the city is like. So San Francisco tech firm is now shutting down its cocktail lounge because they couldn't really get workers back. Now, which one do I want? A cocktail lounge, or do I can work from home and even get some side gigs as well online and make even more money? Absolutely, I work online. I know a friend that recently graduated with me. He actually makes 6 figures. He has 2 jobs, both of them each $80,000. He's working both jobs. It's crazy to see this kind of stuff. So people love working online, right? I know everyone's different, but most of the people I've been talking about, especially in some of the bigger cities, they like to work online. They do want to go to a cheaper city, and they do want to save money. And this is kind of like the only way to somewhat escape the whole entire rat race. I guess you could save money in a cheaper city. So you're seeing that San Francisco no longer is attracting any more new talent. And in fact, many of the talent and many of the rich people are all moving out of the city to other cities. Even Jeff Bezos in Seattle is kind of sick of Seattle. I think everyone's kind of sick of the West Coast. And even Bezos is moving to Miami, which shows you that times are changing. It's getting a little bit different. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.